joining you when the countdown clock has finished, and special announcement today from Inga later in the show. And if you've got any questions at all about BeLive, now would be a great time to ask them, because Inga, if anybody knows what's happening at BeLive and how problems are resolved, then it's Inga. And thank you for joining us. If you'd like to say hello, then we'll feature your comments in the broadcast. If you do have questions to say, please ask them at any point in the broadcast. And this is going to be interesting. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited when the countdown clock finishes because I can say hello, BeLivers, and hello, Inga.
Hey everyone, hello Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, basically, we're broadcasting on BeLive, and nothing could be better than that. Right. So the BeLivers group will have an announcement. Inga will give me a nudge when she wants to tell you about it. But for the moment, we're going to concentrate on improving your live broadcasts. Now, BeLive provide the infrastructure for you to have a high quality broadcast, but that's one of the major ingredients of a successful broadcast is to use BeLive. But there are things that you can do to help and improve the quality of your broadcast. So I'm going to go over to the chat and see if anybody is commenting. I just need to close that. And we say hello to Grant.
Hey.
Looking forward to this. Hello, Grant. And to Sophie. Hello. And to Grant again. Hello, and thanks for joining us. You've noticed if you type something in the comments, we will show it on screen. Now, one of the things that I've often wondered about before we get on to the main topic is basically we're in our studios now. You're in Kiev, I'm in the UK, and our signal is showing on our computer screens, but there's a delay between what we see and what happens on Facebook. What happens in that 20-30 seconds to our video?
Yeah, I'm glad to answer this question. First of all, there are like some limitations that are coming from the networks. Let's say Facebook and YouTube, they have their own limitations for it. And also during this time, our signal is traveling a lot across the globe to the servers and then to the social network where you can watch our broadcast. So that's what is happening in this amount of time.
And there is no way to change that because it is what it is. The video and the audio have got to travel, and they've got to be. You actually at BeLive put them together in the format that we're seeing. So you put the 4 people on screen and then send it off to Facebook and YouTube. Now, allied to that, if I go live on Facebook, which we've been doing now for 4 years, we know everything is fantastic. But if I go live on YouTube as well, does my computer have to work harder?
Do you mean, Stephen, if you're doing it like simultaneously at the same time? No need. Like your computer is completely fine. You can add any destination and we will do all the work. So basically you're just adding the destination, another one, you're going live, that's it. And no extra power needed for your computer and even internet connection.
That's an excellent answer, because that's the key to this, is that if you're going live on Facebook and you have a YouTube account, then there is no reason that you shouldn't go live on YouTube and simulcast at the same time. It doesn't affect your PC, as Inga has just said. So if I always do it, I always go live on both, and we say hello to someone on YouTube. Hello, nice to see you. No, it could be somebody in the group who's not given BeLive permission to show their name. So, right, okay. So now we're on to the content of the broadcast today. I'm just going to bring up on screen and share screen, which is a brilliant BeLive feature, and I'm going to put it full screen. Now you'll still be able to hear Inga and I, and we'll still be able to see your questions, and we will be back on screen, and we say hello to Silborn. Good evening. Nice to see you, sir. Silverbourne is in the UK. And this is a blog post that I wrote last week, and it's about improving your live stream video quality. But it's my thoughts, and today we've got Inga's thoughts as well. So we're going to benefit from insights from product manager at BeLive. And so I'm a bit sort of, no, I'm not apprehensive, but I'm be grateful for Inga's thoughts on the things that we're actually going to go through. So we know that BeLive provides all the infrastructure we need to go live, and we know that that is now totally reliable. But there are things that we can do which will improve the video quality, because it is BeLive is a large component of doing this, but we are as well. Now, one of the first things we can do is we can change the video quality. We can go 480, 720, and if we're on the Pro plan, we can go 1080. Now, Inga, could you explain the difference processing about between 720 and 1080?
Basically, the main difference is the amount of pixels that we're sending. Let's call it this way. So your stream could be either 1080 or 720. And by stream, I mean it's not only your camera resolution, but it's everything that you're showing on screen. So it's the image quality, it's the screen share quality, it's the quality of all the other sources. So that's the main difference. It's just the higher the resolution is, the higher the quality is.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to say hello to Florence Rossini. Nice to see you. If you'd like to put in where you are, then we'd know how global the BeLive audience is. So 1080, 720, 480 and 720 you can have on the standard plan. 1080 is on the Pro plan. And as Inga said, it improves the quality of what people are actually seeing on screen. And that's the broadcast resolution. So the higher the number, the better the quality. But there is a trade-off on this, isn't there? Because there are two factors which do affect it. One is the power of your computer, and the second is your internet speed. Inga.
Yep.
And in terms of internet speed, if you're going to go at 1080p, what sort of resolution do you think that we should be looking at? I'm going to go tick that off solo and just go to 3 of us on screen. So when we're broadcasting at higher resolution, do we need a higher spec PC and a good internet service?
In general, yes. So basically, the higher the resolution is, the best, like let's say, network and the PC you should have. But of course, it depends a lot. It's not the same as it was like 10 years ago, when in order to broadcast in 360p, you need to have the best computer in the town. So more or less, like almost every modern computer is supporting high resolution, and the networks as well. But I recommend to run the speed test before to make sure that everything is fine.
So the speed test will tell you, and basically, I'm going to put a figure out here, and I'm going to say that if you want to go in 1080p, then you've got to have at least a 12 megabits upload.
Yeah, definitely. At least this, and you just need to have some test runs to make sure that what you see like on the speed test is actually correlates with what you actually have. Because sometimes you may see like a very high number, but the result may be not that much satisfying.
Right, now we've got a question that's come in, and what is the recommended upload speed? And so 12 megabits if you want to go, if you're on the Pro plan, you want 1080, but when you go in 720, it's only half the information, only half the pixels being processed, so you can drop that 12 down to 5 or 6. I don't know.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Actually, we know some people manage to do it with even 2, but 5 or 6 sounds like a safe choice.
Okay, so thank you for the question, Grant. and there you are, 5 or 6 should be ample if you're broadcasting in 720. And we know that there are people who have lower speeds, and as Inga just said, you can broadcast with 2 megabits. I know Brigitte has to do that in South Africa because she's no choice, and that's the thing. Now, we are dependent on our network speed, aren't we? Before, I'll just go back to the comments and try to give everybody a chance and put some of the nice comments up on screen. Right, hello Paul, and Paul is saying BeLive is amazing. And Peter Stewart from Aberdeen in Scotland is saying Aberdeen. Good. All right. Okay. And Grant is in Yorkshire, up north, as we say in the UK. And Nick, hello Nick, and he's saying hello to both of us, and a great topic and info. Okay, now the next comment. I'm going down to. Oh, I don't want to miss one. Producing a show is is something that is a work in progress. It depends how many comments come. Right, so we've got the recommended upload speed because that question came on the screen, and a BeLive fan, which is absolutely wonderful because I'm a BeLive fan too. Okay, so we'll take those off screen, and we'll just move on the topics that have actually been raised in the blog post. So I'm going to bring that back full screen. So we've got the blog post on the screen. We've talked about network speeds. So if you're going and you brought, oh, wait a minute. Okay, let's come back a minute. Okay, we've got a question. A question on the screen. What about RAM? How much RAM does a computer need to actually go live? Now, most modern computers will have 8 or 16 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah, I think let's say 3 out of 4 years in BeLive when I'm working here, I used to have 8 gigabytes RAM, and it was working fine.
Right. Okay. So you have the answer is 8 gigabytes upwards, and that's good. And over to Silborn, and Silborn is saying Silborn was also able to reconnect, and we're going to come on to that's a good in, isn't it? Shall I bring the picture up on screen?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about it.
Okay, so I'm going to bring that up on screen, and I'm going to hide my camera, and I'm going to hide the blog, and I'm going to go picture in picture so that people actually see 2 of you. And I'm going to remove your name because we all know who you are, and take the comment off screen. And this is a very important point, Inga.
Yeah, let me cover it. Thanks, Stephen. So, Silburn, you were able to reconnect because we're handling network connection when it's lost. So basically, when something is happening, you lose the network, like any random change, your broadcast will still going on, and it will happen for like a few minutes. Then you will be able to get back and continue streaming. But after some time out, it will stop definitely. It's just a safe place when you know any random thing is happening, you will be safe to continue the process.
I think that is something that not all broadcasting systems have. I'm going to go and start the video for those 2. So there should be 4 of us on screen at the moment. Okay, so that's a very important point, that the show will continue, and the show continues if a guest drops, if you drop. And the thing is that we've been telling people for a long time that 99% of all broadcasting problems can be stopped if you refresh your screen, because you're actually establishing a new connection, aren't you, Inga?
Yes, exactly. So it's let's call it the same mechanism. So when you're refreshing, it's still on the broadcast. As a host, you are not losing anything. You just need to refresh, and you can continue the same way.
Up with the comments, and we'll probably come back to that later. I'm going to hide those two for the moment and come over to, okay, question that was asked whilst we were talking. And what about BeLive and mobile phones? Well, that's making both of us smile. The only thing we can say is nothing at the moment, but just hang on, just be patient. Okay, you can come in as a guest on mobile phone, and that can be an Android or an iPhone. And which is better, because there's some confusion over this, because we can get it cleared now. Is it better to come in on a browser like a Chrome browser or Safari browser, or is it better to use the BeLive guest app on Google Play or the Play Store?
Okay, so let's say first of all, it depends on what you're expecting to have. If you have a guest who has some troubles in installing, doing some extra steps, it's easier for them to connect via web, like via browser. But for better stability, I would definitely recommend to use the app. It's like the version that can help you like be like super protected during your live stream.
So the app first, and then if that is a problem, then switch to the browser. On iOS, Chrome or Safari or either?
On iOS, we support Safari. So the guys just need to copy the link and paste it in Safari, and it will open the short version of the studio. Let's call it this way.
Okay. And Silborn is saying thank you. And we've got another hello. We'll tell you afterwards that there is a privacy issue here. Facebook are adamant that they don't want BeLive to know who you are unless you give permission. So if you want to watch a broadcast from BeLive, and we're glad that you do, then you need to give permission to Facebook so that we can actually show your picture and your name on screen. And it's just one click and you're done. You don't have to do anything else. You just need to click the link, which I'll post later after this broadcast. And once you've done that, then every future BeLive broadcast, you'll be able to see. Now, it only relates to groups. If you're watching a broadcast on a business page or on somebody's profile, it's not a problem because they are public by default. But a group is private, and that means that the access is restricted, and BeLive's access is restricted. Access is restricted unless you give permission. So thank you for the comment and welcome to the broadcast. And I'll post the link afterwards. And then Silborn is saying thank you, and you're most welcome, sir. And a question, I think. Having guests download the app is not good. Too many steps. All right. Well, I mean, every step that people have to do to be a guest is something that can put people off. But let's just look at this. A guest has to download the app, and it's installed, and then they have to log in with Facebook. Is that, or click the link and log in with Facebook? 2 steps, yeah. Is that right, Inga?
Yeah, exactly. This is why we have the web option, so the browser option. There is no need to install anything, but there are like some limitations that are coming from the browsers. So of course, in case that it's an extra step for your guest, or let's say the guest is not like really into live streaming, I mean for a long time, it's an option to use a web version for this. Totally see the point of extra steps.
The thing is that if you're going to have a guest and you know they're going to be on mobile, what you can do is have a chat with them the day before and do a test. If they're doing a test with you the day before, then they have the chance to talk to you. You can instill confidence in them so that when they come on camera, they know exactly what's going on. The other thing is that they've downloaded the app, installed it, and logged in the day before. So when it comes to the day of the show, they can just click your link and it will take them straight to the app. Yeah. So the day before preparation gets rid of all the hassle that guests think they have. Yeah. So do try it. And okay. And from Nick, oh wow, Safari for iOS. Okay, because Chrome is really slowing my processor. Chrome is the most wonderful browser in the world, but it is also the most cumbersome browser that's ever been. There's a phrase that I think we use, which is bloatware. It's been made to do so many things that it's no longer a sleek piece of software because it's catering for so many needs. We're going to come on to that about browsers, because browsers are an important part of the infrastructure, because we're broadcasting now through a Chrome browser on a Windows machine. But I mean, I wouldn't like to be a browser developer, because you've got to please everybody and you're going to annoy somebody. So, and we have a new question from Stephen Stay, and Stephen is saying, does BeLive have the option of disabling audio processing yet for us musicians?
Yeah. Okay, let me take this one. So we're mostly like a talk show software that is helping people to connect. This is why we're not like we're processing the audio. So this way we will need to disable the same thing that you're currently mentioning, and it's currently in our roadmap. So most likely it will be released very soon.
I think that a lot of musicians will be pleased to hear that, because the musicians, especially in the time that we're living now, we've had the ability to go live on air, and they've gone live from mobile phones. But if you've got a group of people and you want to bring them together, then the easiest way to do that is BeLive. And if we're going to have the ability for musicians to be happy with the sound, that's absolutely awesome. Because I know that, I mean, they've got problems with the syncing, but they can work around that one. So that's excellent news. Okay, and next point, I think I may have shown this before, but it's so good, I'm going to show it twice. So hopefully, as I said, if you practice the day before, get to know the people you're going to have as guests, then they've got the app, and on the day they can just click the link. Safari, and then the next comment is coming from Divine. Say hello to Divine, and you're doing a terrific job, Steve. That's very kind of you, sir. Thank you, Divine. Most welcome. It's always with BeLive. It's a team effort, and I'm just here. I'm not giving the information is coming from Inga. I always do it. You're right. Okay, and this is the point that Grant is agreeing with. That if you do a tech check-in with guests, whether on mobile or desktop, before you go live, then you're going to have hopefully a trouble-free broadcast. And also the thing is, since BeLive started, it's been about networking. It's about people meeting people. And that's what you do on the live broadcast. But if you do it before as well, you're actually building a relationship with the people you have on your broadcasts. And you can make contact with them. You can exchange contact details. You can start a conversation which will continue before the broadcast, during the broadcast, and after the broadcast. Now, I've got people on Messenger who I speak to regularly, who are either on my shows or going to be on my shows. And that's the conversations flow from day to day. And I've got a friend I've got many friends, but a friend up in Scotland called Fraser Hay. And he lives up to the far north. And if you think of snow, then that's where the snow falls. And he used BeLive a couple of years ago. And then he just stopped broadcasting because he didn't have, when you said earlier somebody was broadcasting with 2 megabits, he was broadcasting with half a megabit, which is a bit of a problem. Which is a bit of a problem, because the thing is that you can see yourself clear as day on the screen in front of you because it's not going anywhere. That's your camera. And he saw himself as having a perfect picture, but what everybody else saw was pixelated. Anyway, long story short, he's actually moved now to the coast, and he's got 60 gigabit broadband, so we can see him clearly. But the thing that we went through this morning was the agenda. And do you want to talk about that for a moment? Because he was blown away by what the agenda looks like now as to what it was well, even a couple of months ago. So you've done some updates to the agenda.
Yeah, actually, thanks everyone for sharing your thoughts and the difficulties that you found within your change. Personally, I understand how complicated it can be, and I don't like when something is changing with the software that I'm using myself. And I think that we didn't communicate it properly enough, so you would get the value. Uh, Today, we released some changes to the agenda. So you can find now that the text is much easier to edit, as well as there is an option to hide all shown items when it's something on screen and you don't want to look for the crawler somewhere in the list. And as well, you can update the agenda without clicking anywhere, just push the button and it will happen. Encourage you to try it out and of course share your feedback. We're always counting on it and we're doing our change based on it. Thank you, Stephen.
One of the things I love about the new agenda is the fact that you can change text to a crawler and crawler to a text just by clicking edit and one button, and that's done. So you can have a scroll. And the other thing is that on the old version, as we call it, you used to have one crawler. Now you can have as many crawlers as you wish. There's no limit, is there?
No, no limit.
Okay. No limit. Okay. And Divine's got a question for Stephen. What improvements are? Oh, that's this is a question for Inga. Thank you for asking me. But if we're going to ask anybody, because question for Stephen: what improvements are coming on BeLive TV and how soon? So, I'm going to give the floor to Inga.
Yeah, okay. I will share like some general improvements that we're working on right now. We're tackling the guest experience heavily. So very soon we'll have an option to host a broadcast and invite a guest that will be able to join without any credentials, let's say with a name or without signing up or with a Facebook or with Gmail account. I think it's very important for you and for your guests as well, as there is like reducing the number of steps they need to take. Other than that, we are working on the ability to have more guests on screen. We heard you. I know that you were sharing about that you need more guests, and we will bring it to you. So let's keep it like this, and other stuff I will share later on.
Excellent. I mean, the thing is that with guests, that is the answer to a problem that most systems have. In that the fewer hurdles, the fewer steps a guest has to take, the more likely they are to come on, and that's a great thing. And more people on screen, I'm all for that. Let's go to a couple of questions and observations. And so just to recap, Grant was saying, I always do a tech check with guests. And over to Nick, and Nick is saying, yes, prep your guests. It's a no-brainer, which is English way of saying, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't prep your guests. And on to the next comment. Thank you for all the comments. Right, okay. Well, we're sorry about that. The only thing, well, I mean, if you could try the latest version of the guest app on BeLive, and the changes that are coming through with not having to log in will also be a game changer in terms of usability. And the other thing I just want to pick up on this just for a moment. We've told you that you can speed check your own internet connection. Okay. And we know that the top left of the screen, we've got the BeLive health bar, as we call it. And if that's green, you know everything's fine. Your guests have got the same bar at the top, and they can monitor their own signal, can't they? Yeah, because as the host of a show, you don't know what's happening to your guests. You don't know whether they've got good internet or not.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you can say it like, actually, it's a nice point, Stephen. I think we can add it. So as a host, you will be able to see what is the internet connection your guests have.
oh, that'd be brilliant. That would make life very easy and straightforward. Okay, somebody with a diverse opinion. Prepping guests is 2019. Now guests want easy access like Zoom, and as Inga's just been saying, that is on the way. And the next question is, I prep all my guests, and once they know it is in their best interest, they have no problem embracing the prepping, says Divine. And it does make for a smoother broadcast. And we're joined by, just a minute, if I can click the button. We're also joined by Asan. Asan is saying, steps for guests are very complicated. Do you want to create guest join steps without a BeLive account? I think you just spoken about that, yes?
Yeah, I think the question was before we were talking about it. So
yeah.
I'm just answering.
Yeah, so you won't have, the guests will not have to log in when the new version arrives. And steps for guests are, oh, what's the, I don't want to say the same thing twice. Over to Nick. And Nick is saying, I always prep my guests. Okay. And I had a 2-hour phone call with one very high profile guest, as he wanted to make sure we both looked and sounded awesome. Well, that's it. I mean, doing the video and sound check before you go live, you know what's going to happen. You know the result. You know whether your guest has got a good signal. You know whether the microphone's working, the camera's working, all the problems. Yeah. I mean, when I do the shows during the week, and I always co-host, then we meet up 10 minutes before. But that's because we're doing it week in, week out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. When it's a new guest, then I talk to them the day before. Yeah. And it builds relationships. And now to Peter, who's one of my co-hosts, Peter is arguing that Fraser doesn't live in the north. Okay. Peter's in Aberdeen, which is, and there you are, Inga. Nick is saying, love the new agenda. So the comment, I still got, we're not going to be able to get through the comments. Let's try and catch up. Divine is saying, question for, so right, okay, that came up automatic, possibly it came up automatically. And Grant is saying he loves the feature. And over to Divine. And any improvements on sound quality? You talked about that a moment ago, Inga. There are improvements coming, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So the first one that will tackle the musical use case. Basically, when you want to play music, we will cancel the audio processing, and other improvements are on the way as well.
Because we know that after this broadcast, we've got both the video and the audio. And if the audio is great quality, then we can put that out as a podcast. Yeah. So it means that you're actually repurposing the sound only, which is good. Over to Peter. When we play a video from YouTube, are we supposed to hear it? Yes. Nick and I do a broadcast on Mondays at 3 o'clock, which is live video reviews, and we play videos from YouTube without any problem at all. If you are having a problem, then we can talk on Thursday before we go live. If that doesn't solve it, then I'll sit there with you and go through it. So no problem, Peter. It does work. Okay. Even more comments now. This is good. This is because seems like BeLive was developed without someone as a media professional in the room. Tech check the day before is nonsensical. No, it's not. And I'm going to take exception to what you say. We all have different ways of doing things. And if you want to rock up 5 minutes before the gig starts, then I wish you all the luck. If you want to prepare the day before, it's not down to luck. You know it's going to work. Okay, I'm going to find out who that is afterwards. Probably somebody I know. We used to have a sheet for guests. There is still a on BeLive website. There is a support sheet for guests, which is downloadable. I'll post a link afterwards, Peter. And asking guests to. All right, okay. I'm just hovering over the word troll here. I'm not sure whether, because I can't see the name. I'm sure they're not. Peter's saying there are things for guests like tidying. No, Peter, we can't do that. You can't go around tying kids up to prepare for a show. That's not on. And Divine is saying all right, and we did a review the other day, Nick and I, of the Chat Night Africa website. Divine is saying, I like Be.Live TV for my shows at Chat Night Africa. And Divine and Chat Night Africa have a good following, a Facebook page. They've got a new website, which I just love because he incorporates all the YouTube videos from Be.Live into the website. So you don't need to leave his website to actually watch the videos. So congrats on that, Divine, and thank you for the comment. And over to Grant. And Grant is saying, many of my guests are not tech savvy, so guest check is essential. And I think that's another point. We take our knowledge for granted. The people that we're talking to and interviewing may not have been on live video before. So you've got to take that into account as well. All right, I think I'm just going to check, Inga. But no, I haven't got, I thought I got all the comments. I haven't. People, all right, okay. Our tech user says he's not a troll, but he's not a BeLive user, which is unfortunate. And Chat Night is great, as Nick confirms, because we actually looked at Chat Night on Monday. Okay, so thank you everybody for your comments. Comments do fuel live broadcasts, and we're grateful for them. And we're going to go back and bring up on screen and just finish off our main topic of today. Now we've got back 20 minutes later, we'll go back and we've talked about the resolution, the difference. Now your browser is an important part of the broadcast, and whether it's Safari or Chrome, the reason that we use Chrome is because of WebRTC, which was developed by Google and then released as software that anybody could actually take up and use. And broadcasting houses did that, liked what they saw, and then said, that's good, but we're going to rewrite it. So it's been substantially rewritten as the software that we use for connecting over the internet and sending video and audio. But at its core, it's a Google product, and it started life with Google. Now Google created Google Chrome. You can see where I'm going here. The best browser on Windows for broadcasting is Google Chrome, because Google got there first and started the ball rolling. So clearing your cache, when we're, and Inga, jump in whenever you know, just to add to what sort of written, but clearing your cache is always a good idea. I clear the cache on my browser once a week, because as you're actually scrolling the internet, your browser remembers where you've been and builds up a history and collects images and collects anything that you've seen, the browser's seen, and it takes a copy of it. And that's using up your browser's resources. Would that be fair, Inga? Just a minute. Sorry about that. Would that be fair, Inga?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was muting myself not to interrupt.
Right. The other thing is, now this is crucial. I'm going to come back to us. Every browser tab that you have open whilst you're live is doing something. Whether you can see it doing something or not, it's working. It's auto refreshing. If you're on BBC News or CNN, the stories on the page are being continuously updated. And every browser tab is doing something which you would ordinarily find useful. But when you're actually broadcasting, you want as much of your browser and internet to be free for the video. So for good practice, and this is just my recommendation, I'll get Inga's thoughts in a moment, I only ever have maximum 3 tabs open. One is the one that we're on now, which is the broadcast tab. The second one is Messenger, so that if there is a problem, Inga and I can chat in the background to resolve it. And the third one, if I'm sharing a tab, I've got that tab open and prepared so that I don't have to go off screen and come back. Do you feel that the number of tabs open actually affects the browser, Inga?
It does a lot. Sometimes when we're at work, we have a lot of tabs open, and then we're testing the software and so on and so forth. So I can definitely say that the number of tabs is very important. Try to keep it as less as possible.
The next thing is, right, okay, now this is one of my favorites. And we both saw a post about this in the BeLivers group. People, you love to watch yourself live, okay? No problem with that, all good. But if you watch yourself live in the same browser, on the same internet connection, then the quality of your broadcast may suffer, because I'm uploading this picture, Inga is uploading her picture, and then I'm going to download both. This is an extra strain on your bandwidth, and it should be, it's the same as watching Netflix or Amazon Prime whilst you're broadcasting. There's just, right, I'm going to say this because this is me. It doesn't make sense to watch something else whilst you're actually broadcasting. But Inga and I agreed the other day about watching yourself on mobile on 4G.
Yeah, I think that's the only way that if you can't resist and you cannot watch yourself, just do it from your mobile device, not connected to the Wi-Fi network or the same network as you're using.
Brilliant. Now, the other thing is, of course, that still with your browser, so don't watch yourself unless you're on, as Inga said, on a mobile with 4G, not your internet connection. Okay, now another thing that we don't think of very often, which can use your browser's memory, is browser extensions. Now, extensions are wonderful, and it's brilliant to be able to click an icon and something magic happens because it's already in your browser. But when you start your browser, every single extension you use goes live. And it stays live until you close your browser. Now, if you check, and you can go to Chrome extensions, you can check the extensions you're actually using. All the ones that are live are doing things whilst you're live. Okay, so they're not quiet. They don't sit there and wait for something to happen. They've actually got to be polling and asking questions the whole time that they're working. So it is a drain on your Chrome browser. So my best advice, and we'll go Inga as well, is if there is an extension that you don't need, in other words, you don't need to use it, switch it off. Because if you switch it off, then it won't affect your video performance. Would that be fair, Inga?
Yeah, definitely. It's the same I can just add about ad blockers and other things that can occupy your browser. So the less things you have in your browser, the better it's for your broadcast.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to the comments. And okay, so back to Divine, I think. And Divine was talking about Chat Out Africa, and then over to Peter. And Peter, I don't want to repeat that one. Don't change your well, no. Peter's saying don't change your microphone 5 minutes before a show. Well, this is the thing. I got the same microphone. I've got the same camera. I've got the same everything every week. I don't change it. I do test it, but I don't change it. So I think we'd agree, don't change your microphone 5 minutes before a show, because it may not work. And I would better say, oh, right, okay, fine. Okay, now we know. And the next comment coming in is great information, not much. Right, okay. Anything that says YouTube user, I'm going to ignore from now on. Yeah. The only way I can do this. Okay. There are some great platforms out there, but currently we're actually talking to BeLive users about BeLive. Right, speaking of which, Inga, is it time, do you think?
Is it time?
I don't know, 5 minutes?
Okay, so I'm actually very excited to share this news, and it's like super fresh new start for us. Basically, yesterday we started our mobile hosting beta. So if you're interested to host a broadcast from your mobile device, you're more than welcome to join our beta community. And I will be super thrilled to see you there. We'll work together on this app, and we'll make sure that all your needs are met, and that we are doing the best that we can. Yay, please do. See you there. Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome. Okay, and if you go over there, you'll find out more information, and we'll put the link in afterwards. If you go to the alpha test group, and you can either be on iOS or Android. If you're on iOS, you can start testing as soon as it's released. If you're on Android, we've got to wait a little while, which is not a problem, because it means the iOS people can sort everything out first. So that's a benefit. And you'll also find that the mobile app can go to 5 destinations, which I'm intrigued by, but I'm not going to ask any more about that. I'm going to wait to be told. Okay. And the other thing is that on the mobile app, I'll just say this, you can actually add a guest. Yeah, on the mobile app. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm not going to...
the comment on screen as well. So it's like the first functionality that you will be able to use straight away. Adding a guest, showing live on 5 destinations, and showing comments on screen. And the future things are coming and are waiting for you. But let's start with hosting from mobile.
It's awesome. So also host a broadcast from mobile, 5 destinations. You can add a guest, and you can see the comments and show the comments on screen. Okay, so back to the comments that have come in since you told us about that. And I'm going to hide that one and just scroll down. And Grant is saying, I'm just trying to find Grant's post. Oh, Grant's reaction. Grant's reaction. Okay, and over to Divine. And Divine is saying, I believe BeLive TV is a terrific broadcast platform. You just need to work on your sound. Okay, well, we know Inga said earlier that sound is being worked on. And all right, okay, I did going to ignore those. Right, okay, so that's the news. The link to the closed group will be, I'll put it up after the show, and you can go over there and you can apply to join and test the iOS app and soon the Android app. And it's going to be a game changer. I've got to say this, it's going to change things. One, it means that anybody, I'm just going to write the problem that people have had, and this is not people in developed countries in Europe, people in India and Pakistan and the Far East only have a mobile. Yeah, they don't have a desktop. So that's a totally new set of people who can broadcast on BeLive. And the second thing is, and I'm looking forward to doing this, you won't believe this, I'm looking forward to going on one of my walks along the canal and being live on BeLive at the same time and actually talking to people as I'm doing it. And that's going to be a reality. And that, if you'd asked about that, you said 10 years ago we couldn't do any of this. Well, if you asked about being able to broadcast live on your mobile and walk around and talk to people and see them live and see their comments and do a live show, then that would have been science fiction. And science fiction is coming true. Are you a sci-fi fan, just out of interest?
Yeah, actually I do.
Yep, I thought so. Me too. There's nothing like a good science fiction film to actually inspire us. Okay, so let's go back to the blog for a moment before we close the broadcast. If you've got any questions for Inga, then please do ask. If you've got any questions about improving your broadcast or ways in which you think you can improve your broadcast, then please do come and ask them. Now, browser extensions and screen sharing. So we've talked about extensions. Switch off the ones that you don't use, because then they are detracting from the resources available to your broadcast. Now, next one is screen sharing. Now, I'm screen sharing at this very moment. I'm screen sharing one tab. Now, I do know of people who know that they're going to screen share 6 different tabs during the course of their broadcast, and they set all 6 up. Each screen share that you do is taking Chrome resources. And the more screen shares that you have live during your broadcast, the more resources are being taken. So this is just my idea, that if you're going to do a screen share, do one at a time. You can keep the links for the other 5 screen shares tucked away somewhere and use them when you need them. But to have 6 screen shares open, for me, is basically to create a problem for yourself. Right, okay, so let's take that question from Divine, and as we come towards the close of the broadcast. So just to flick through before we come to Divine, screen sharing uses resources. Try to just do one screen at a time. The speed of your network we've talked about earlier. Now, this is one that we don't often think about. When you're in the office, or especially when you're at home and you're broadcasting, you've got other people doing other things. It's very difficult to broadcast if somebody is watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or playing a video game online, because they're actually using the same internet that you've got. So if you can, and you know the people well, do ask them, just tell them that you're going to go live between the hours of 6 and 6:30. Could they please not play games and watch Amazon Prime? That would help you. I mean, obviously, there are things you can and can't do. Now, the other thing we mentioned earlier was the BeLive network quality meter, and the details are in the blog, and you can go to the blog and find out. And then finally, just coming up the home straight, we've got details of which cameras to get the best quality video. And as Inga said right at the start of the broadcast, most modern computers will have a high definition camera built in. Okay, and the final thought on going live is, before this broadcast, I rebooted my machine. I always do. When you're actually live, anything can be happening in the background. For argument's sake, there could be an antivirus check going on, or a program could be running in the background. So many things are going on your computer, and if you use it for 4 hours and then go live, you have no idea which resources are actually being used. The best thing to do is to just shut down your computer and start it up again, and then hopefully there will be no programs running in the background, and you'll have a trouble-free broadcast. So let's take that off screen and come back, and I'm going to hide it, and we're back to the 2 of us. And we've got a question from Divine. How can Divine eliminate latency when he records offline? So he's gone for the record button in BeLive. And occasionally there is a difference between the video and the audio.
Oh, okay, I will take it. Divan, I think it will be like the best solution for us if you text me privately, and we'll figure out your system and what is like the RAM that you have and your internet connection. Like most likely it's caused by the internet connection, but let's check it like in private messages. I will definitely help you out.
Now, just on that point, if you connect with any of the admins in BeLivers, they will always do their best to help you. As I asked Inga, I think before we went live, what you most enjoy about being product manager at BeLive, and your answer was?
My answer was that I really enjoy when you guys are happy, when you will share your insights and provide any ideas about how this software may look like. And what I don't enjoy, if you don't like the update and you think that it's not bringing you the value. So I enjoy bringing you the value and listening to your side as well.
And just to remind you, before we leave, Inga announced that you will soon be able to host a broadcast from mobile. We'll put the link to the group so that you can actually join the alpha test group. The mobile app goes to 5 destinations, and you can add a guest and you can share comments on screen. And we go to a comment from Divine, and Divine is saying, I have my download speed at 1000 megabits and upload speed at 42 megabits. I wish I had those numbers. I wish I had those numbers, but talking to Inga will help resolve the problem. Yeah. Inga, thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Do you have a message for BeLivers before we actually close the broadcast?
Thank you, Stephen, for letting me interrupt your broadcast. The pleasure is definitely mine. And yeah, my message is very simple. If you guys have any suggestions and you need any help, please do reach out to us. We are all humans and we can help you out in the best possible way. So just don't be afraid. We can solve any problem that we may have.
Over to Grant. Thank you for that, Inga. I knew this question would come up. We don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. Inga's gone quiet. So we'll see. Okay. So on that note, on a smiley note, that BeLive is being innovative and introducing features that we couldn't even imagine. I'd like to say thank you to Inga. It's been a pleasure to actually co-host the show today. I'd like to thank everybody for your questions. That is what makes BeLive special. And we look forward to watching your broadcasts. And if you need any help at all at any time, then you can contact Inga or myself, and we'll do our best to help. From BeLive, it's goodbye for now, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Stop.